At this most prestigious high school in Korea, there is a female student who is known as the school's queen. She wields absolute power here, making teachers and principals shy in her presence. Even the teacher or principals have to be shy when encountering her. Yet she felt weak in front of a newly transferred country girl. The only person the school queen can't find against is Sul Gi. Sul Gi is the girl who is orphaned by both her father and mother. On the first day of school, she was bullied by her friends, who brazenly spit out gum and threw milk on her head. Sul Gi can only endure but cannot fight against them. Then she had to cut off part of my hair in resentment. After school, she had to work part-time to earn money to make ends meet. Because they have no identity, it is difficult for orphans like her to get a job. Sul Gi had to do a not-so-good job selling illegal drugs. A senior at the orphanage started giving out fake ID cards to people like her. They all have a prescription from the hospitals using fake identities. Next, go to the store to pick up your prescription so people can use it to sell to those in need. Despite being the one who took advantage of his juniors to sell illegal drugs. However, the senior guy at the youth camp also cares very much about his people. He asked Sul Gi about her studies and found out that she only ranked 15th in the class. He advised her to study hard so she wouldn't have to live a hard life. Right after that, he gave Sul Gi a medicine to improve her health. From that day on, Sul Gi began to pay more attention to her studies. Sul Gi knew it was not a normal medicine, but she couldn't stop using it. She studies day and night anytime, anywhere whenever she has free time. From being ranked 15th in the class, Sul Gi suddenly rose to 15th in the school. Until now, Sul Gi realized the benefits of being a good student. The people who used to bully her are now gone. Instead, they all respect her more. That night after finishing her work, Sul Gi informed her senior, "Today will be my last day of work. I will move to Seoul to study. I have found my father." The next morning, Sul Gi alone took the bus to Seoul. From now on, she will enter a new school that is only for those with money and status. People like Sul Gi only make up a small part here. Some female students are also taken to school by supercars. Seeing this made Sul Gi truly overwhelmed. Sul Gi then went to the teacher room to announce her transfer. The teacher wondered where her parents were to let her go alone like this. "You're in grade 12, but you still force your children to change schools." She quickly showed Sul Gi to her new classroom and advised her to wear the school uniform. Outside, Sul Gi asked these two female students about the 12th grade classroom. But they all ignored it and didn't point it out to Sul Gi. While wandering around finding a classroom, Sul Gi was fascinated by the sound of a concert. An admission ceremony is taking place here. At that time, an old lady came here to sell flowers but was chased out by the security guard. Seeing this, Jee stopped the security guard and approached the old lady, offering to buy all her flowers. Jee is one of the most talented female students at this Chaiwa school, when her family is the one who sponsors the school. At the same time, she was also the school's best student for many years. While Sul Gi stood watching Jee speak. Then the security guard kicked her out because he thought she was not a this school's student. Standing above Jee really focused on Sul Gi. Right after that, Sul Gi arrived at her classroom and the teacher complained about her being late. Then arranged for her to sit at the back table of the class. A moment after the admission ceremony ended, Jee came to class. The teacher also finished taking attendance, so she left at the same time Sul Gi's suitcase suddenly opened. She immediately ran over to pick up the things scattered on the floor. Seeing that, Jee also came forward and picked up a keychain for Sul Gi. Jee really focused on this strange girl. Right after that, other female students wanted to sit next to Jee. Some people even prepared a place for her in advance, but she ignored it. Jee circled around the classroom to find a seat, then suddenly walked to the last table to sit next to Sul Gi. Jee then said hello to Sul Gi, but Sul Gi didn't care much. During recess, other female students found Sul Gi to change seats. Everyone wants to sit next to the school's queen Jee. Kim Natsi made a very attractive offer. "If you're willing to change places with me, you can get as much money as you want." Without any hesitation, Sul Gi immediately agreed to change seats with Kim Natsi. "But you don't need to accept anything from the Natsi." Sul Gi said that if you have a lot of money, you should buy your own makeup. After listening, Natsi looked angry and tried to fight against Sul Gi. At that moment, Jee appeared from nowhere and invited Natsi to eat. At the same time, she also invited Sul Gi to go. Suddenly, she pulled Sul Gi's hand and left, to the other female student's surprise. Feeling something strange, Sul Ji asked if she could let go of his hand. But Jee said that today was the first day she went to school and please hold this hand so as not to get lost. Jee wondered and asked Sul Ji why he changed schools, and she said she went with her parents. Wu Ri asked Sul Ji where he lived before, but she didn't want to reveal it. Next, everyone asked Sul Ji what she wanted to join. She wanted to opt for medical school. That is the goal that any female student here wants to enter. Everyone was even more surprised to learn that Sul Ji only studied on her own and did not study at any center. Everyone wondered and said how could he get into medical school? Everyone here studies at 3 to 4 different centers. After lunch, a group of female students automatically brought water to Jee's group. Then they all drank some kind of medicine that made Sul Ji very curious. Returning to class, Sul Ji took her books away because she had previously agreed to change places. Another girl asked if he had asked Jee's permission yet. Then she replied that why should she ask his permission? Seeing that the other girl had just finished taking her medicine, Sul Ji gave her water. But she threw it away and thought, how can I trust you to drink this bottle of water? Who knows you put something in here?
Maybe now you feel like a crazy person and feel sorry for yourself.
But just wait and see, once Jee targets you, you won't be able to stay awake. At the lab, Choi Kyung asked Jee if he would keep that country girl with him. I don't like people with unknown backgrounds joining the group. However, Jee did not reveal the reason why she became friends with Sul Ji. Jee said that this year there are extra points for the class leadership. If you want to be class monitor in the first semester, I will help you at this school. Jee could do everything that she liked most at this school. Returning to class, Jee asked Sul Ji why he changed seats. She immediately made an excuse that her eyes were bad so she couldn't see the board. Jee immediately asked her friend sitting next to Sul Ji to change seats with her. Seeing that, Sul Ji said that we shouldn't affect other friends. Hearing this made the people around stunned. And Jee doesn't want to change seats to sit next to Sul Ji anymore. But she remembered what Sul Ji said. After school, Sul Ji returned to her stepmother's house. She asked Sul Ji about the phone her father left behind. Even though Sul Ji was holding it, she said she didn't see it. A few days ago, Sul Ji found her biological father. But that was also the time he passed away. Her stepmother accepted to raise Sul Ji even though her husband was no longer there. In the box that Sul Ji's father left behind was having that mentioned phone. In addition, Sul Ji's banner is looking for lost children. That night Sul Ji ordered a new school outfit online. Because she didn't have enough money, she could only buy one set. Right after that, she went to the laundry store to wash it. At the same time, a strange number called her father's phone. She immediately picked up the phone, but the person on the other end didn't say anything. The next morning, Sul Ji wore a new uniform to school. Seeing this, Kim Nazi intentionally threw the water bottle on Sul Ji's body. Then I thought I just missed it. Next she said that she smelled the fishy smell of semen on your uniform.
When you play with Jee, do you consider yourself a princess?
The whole class then laughed at Sul Ji afterwards. Seeing this scene reminded her of what happened at her old school. At that time, she was a victim of school violence, being bullied and humiliated by friends at school all day. Right after that, Sul Ji went to the bathroom to wash her uniform. Jee suddenly appeared and went to hug Sul Ji. Jee also brought a uniform for Sul Ji to temporarily change into. But Sul Ji refused to wear it. She kept saying that she was fine, so don't worry about anything. Don't imagine that everyone will be happy with your friendliness. After hearing this, Jee immediately threw the shirt into the trash angrily. The whole class then had a practice test where they not only had to do it correctly and quickly. Sul Ji was surprised when the test set included parts that had not yet been learned. I was even more surprised when no one around me found it strange. At the end of the test, the teacher gave a rough grade, and it was no surprise that Jee scored a perfect 10. Choi Kyung got 9 points, and some people got 6 to 8 points, and those who did not read their names were in the low-scoring group. After the teacher came out, everyone around Jee asked for the answers. Sul Ji immediately went to see the teacher to ask about her scores. The teacher looked back, and Sul Ji got 4 points. The teacher was disappointed when Sul Ji previously ranked first at her old school, but her score was so low. Sul Ji learned that the teacher would not retake that test next class, because this is a competency test for centers to evaluate the average scores of students. Sul Ji then went to the tutoring center. She learned that the tuition for 2 subjects was 2.5 million won. A large amount of money was beyond her ability. Here, Sul Gi also learned that the center had just solved 7 questions in advance of the test. She stopped by a nearby classroom and took out her phone to take a photo. At that moment, a teacher discovered it, so Sul Gi quickly ran away before her pursuit.
Seul Girandaun de Olen Sauji.
She knew what happened, so she put the hat on Sul Gi, then told Sul Gi to run to the rooftop to hide. After running to the rooftop, Sul Gi remembered the haunting memories of being bullied. She sat in a corner in extreme fear. At that moment, Jee slowly walked to pull Sul Gi up, much to Sul Gi's surprise. Talking a little about Jee's background, there are many strange things. Before Jee was born, the family had to choose a good day to give birth to her. Jee was lucky to be born into a millionaire family. Since childhood, Jee was a genius girl. She is good at everything from dancing to playing the piano to painting to martial arts. However, she was very weak in learning to read, making her father unhappy. Jee has a sister who is 1 year older. In contrast to her younger sister, her older sister studies very well and is pampered by her father more. Seeing this made Jee very angry. Since then, she has devoted herself to studying harder.
Then one day uno caught up with my sister.
That day my father gave their sisters a test. Jee excellently defeated even her older sister. Right then her father gave Jee a punishment that would hit her older sister's hand. Jee will be able to beat her sister's hand based on the number of mistakes she makes. And so Jee had to beat her sister even though she didn't want to. After finishing the fight, Jee felt extremely guilty, because she didn't want to see her sister in pain. Her father immediately said that you want the situation to be reversed. Then he told Jee a story about brotherhood in the family. One day, God only accepted the offerings of his younger brother. So the older brother was angry and took the younger brother to the field to kill him. Now if you don't do that to your sister, then one day my sister will do the same to me. After listening to her father's words, Jee told herself that she would not let her sister kill her. From then on, Jee always distanced herself from her. As long as there is a chance, she avoids her sister as far as possible. Then one day Jee fell in love with a male student at school. When he was about to explore Jee's body, he discovered she was wearing iron armor. Jee still doesn't want to give anyone her body. Every weekend, Jee's family often goes to church to pray, but she feels very bored. She felt that no one around her was truly repentant. At the same time, she herself did not make any mistake that caused her to come here. And then Jee thought of something crazy to commit a crime. Jee started hanging out with the rich family's children. Every night she goes to the nightclub to immerse herself in alcohol and music, then go to church to repent. Then one day Jee felt that he had an audience with God. She dreamed of wearing armor and jumping into a deep river. At this moment, Jee felt very comfortable and at ease. She feels safe and is no longer haunted by the story her father told her. Back to reality, Jee leads Sul Gi to her family's hospital. Here Jee was examined by a doctor and given brain tonic to drink. But Jee just held it in her mouth and then secretly spit it out. Jee prepared a new uniform for Sul Gi to change into. Sul Gi wondered why he treated her so well. Jee said it was because he respected him. I knew everything when you were at your old school. You always hold the #1 position, and I'm curious about your method of learning without a tutor. Sul Gi said that at this new school, her learning method is not working. After listening, Jee promised to share math materials at the center.
In exchange, she only wants Seul Gi's way of learning.
Because of what Jee did for her, Sul Gi gave her a keychain. The keychain with the image of the cross that she always keeps with her. On the way to pick Jee up, her father asked about her friend who had just transferred to school. I heard that she always ranked first at her old school. But Jee said that it's not enough for Dad to worry about since she was not her opponent. The next day, the teacher noted Kim Nazi's absence and warned that missing a class would lower her university ranking by 3 ranks. If she becomes a class officer, she'll get a 3-level increase and wants the class to elect their own president. After the teacher left, Sul Gi wanted to return to her old seat and sit next to Yi Ji. And she immediately nodded in agreement, surprising everyone. The whole class then elected a new class monitor. In addition to the only candidate, Choi Kyung, Jee suddenly nominated Sul Gi as well. She was about to refuse, but Jee stopped her, and then Jee promised the teacher that she would help her. Meanwhile, Choi Kyung seemed extremely upset when Jee had previously promised to make her class monitor. At the end of the election, Sul Gi unexpectedly won against Choi Kyung. The person who was the happiest was his tablemate Jee Choi Kyung. Do not accept the truth, so they want to recheck the votes. She firmly believes that the votes for Sul Gi are fraudulent because there are many very similar words. Sul Gi responded that someone like me who absolutely cannot receive support can motivate classmates all to vote. Or do you mean I have someone behind me to help? Standing next to the teacher, he also advised Choi Kyung to stop. Sul Gi will be the class monitor and I will be the class vice president. Standing below, Jee forced Choi Kyung to apologize for everything. You just insulted Sul Gi and her classmates. Choi Kyung then had to apologize to everyone in extreme anger. That night Sul Gi tried to unlock her father's phone. She used all the numbers related to him but couldn't. At that moment, she received Jee's message that she wanted Sul Gi to have a meal because she became class monitor. On this side, Jee's father received news that Sul Gi's stepmother was suing him for her husband's death. He ordered his people to pay her compensation and then took back the complaint. Sul Gi's father's death was due to Jee's father's negligence. He is trying to use money to hide everything that happened. On the other side, Sul Gi arrived at the meeting point but didn't see Jee anywhere. Turns out she was sitting upstairs and saw Sul Gi. But Jee let Sul Gi wait for her down there. The rain now came and Sul Gi was still waiting for Jee. A moment later, when the weather had completely stopped, Jee found Sul Gi. Here Jee apologized for being late, but with a face full of fakeness. Right after that, Jee invited Sul Gi to his house to talk and spend the night. Because Jee insisted so much, Sul Gi had to agree. When Sul Gi arrived, she learned that Jee had another sister. But the older sister was always in the room, and according to Jee, it was as if she was dead. Sul Gi was truly overwhelmed by Jee's gorgeous bedroom decorated like an ocean. Jee said that she really liked the ocean, so she decorated it like that. It feels like being abandoned by the whole world down there, but not lonely but feeling secure. At that moment, Jee's dog brought in a dress. Seeing that, Sul remembered that she used to have a dress like that. At that time, Sul Gi also wore it and called her parents' names in front of the sea. It seemed like that was the time when she lost two people.
Sitting next to Jay, he sympathized with Seul G's situation.
She thinks it's the adult's fault, not yours. Right after that, Jee took off her uniform in front of Sul Gi, making her very shy. At the same time, she sees Jee's calendar marked with very strange dates. Lying in the bathtub, Sul Gi now feels the life of a rich person. She really enjoys the things around her. At this moment, Jee was also present. She calmly took off her shirt and stepped into the bathtub with Sul Gi. Jee didn't hesitate to give Sul Gi a kiss, leaving her stunned. Then the next kisses were responded to by Sul Gi passionately. Right after that, Sul Gi woke up with Jee lying next to her, and what had just happened was just a dream. At the same time, Kim Nazi texted Jee. She said she would apologize to Sul Gi privately. I'm transferring schools right away, so please delete that video. Sul Gi was really curious, so she secretly read everything. On this side, Choi Kyung received a complaint against Jee's father. Because Choi Kyung's mother is the lawyer in charge of the lawsuit over Sul Gi's father's death. This seems to be something for Choi Kyung to take over Jee. Sul Gi was stunned when she saw her father's resume and her own on Jee's phone. There is also another video where Jee threatens Kim Nazi. Recently, Jee has secretly investigated everything about her. On the other side, Choi Kyung sat looking for information about Sul Gi's father's death. She finds out that it was all due to a medical error by Jee's father's hospital. When Choi Kyung was 10, she found out that she was going through puberty earlier than others. Sitting on the train, Choi Kyung felt moved by the boys in front of her eyes. She continuously swallowed saliva because of her own stimulation. Choi Kyung felt like she was possessed by a perverted ghost. She was curious, so she went online to talk about love. It's strange to have a question about your deskmate's name in elementary school. Choi Kyung immediately remembered the girl at the table that she hated so much. That girl studies very well and always ranks number 1 in her school. Always acting like he knows everything. Always telling Choi Kyung to do this and that. One day, Choi Kyung was so angry that he hit his tablemate. Not long after that, her friend transferred schools to study abroad with him. Choi Kyung is secretly happy that the school's number 1 has left, and she will take that position. But human calculation is not as good as heaven's calculation when Jee appears to replace him. She was both beautiful and studied well, only to destroy Choi Kyung's plans. Compared to her previous tablemate, Jee is even more obnoxious. Jee is so excellent and always loved by everyone. This made Choi Kyung extremely jealous but couldn't say it out loud. Then one day, a handsome boy named Ha Jin transferred to the school. Choi Kyung immediately felt moved by him. Choi Kyung stays awake day and night talking about Ha Jin. But one day he revealed that he liked Jee. It was a surprise to Choi Kyung. Since then until now, Choi Kyung has only been on the same page and not satisfied with Jee. She always thought that Jee took away everything she deserved. Back to reality, Jee wakes up when Sul Ji has left. There's only a neatly folded set of pajamas over there. Here, Jee remembered that last night she installed a location device on Sul Ji's phone. She immediately opened her phone to look and knew her location. During breakfast, Jee wondered and asked her father why she hadn't come home yet. He said my sister was already embarrassed from failing college and retaking the exam, so how could she study at home with her sister? It seemed like the older sister felt embarrassed and didn't want to go home, including not having any contact with the family for a long time. He thought that this time my sister would be very determined. Jee replied that she would never win against me. When Sul Ji came to class and saw Jee, she immediately tried to avoid her. At the same time, everyone is buzzing about the news that Kim Nazi is preparing to transfer schools. Right after, Jee approached Sul Ji and asked why she hadn't greeted her. He was about to go somewhere when Sul Ji told him to go to the teacher's room. When they arrived, they both saw Kim Nazi and her mother going through school transfer procedures. Jee immediately brought Sul Ji over to say goodbye to her. But Kim Nazi's face had no emotion at all. Returning to class, everyone received the literature results and Jee could only get a minus. And the person who got a perfect score was Sul Ji. A curious person wanted the teacher to read Sul Ji's article to the whole class. But the teacher said that it was an article containing a personal story. So I can't read it here after the class goes to lunch. Woo Ri. After the whole class went to lunch, Woo Ri secretly took Sul Ji's test. She left school because she had asked the teacher to leave early. When Sul Ji returned, the test was nowhere to be found. She searched her school bag and her personal cabinet but couldn't find it. The next day when everyone came to class, everyone had Sul Ji's essay under their desks. Surely that was Woo Ri's trick. The content of the essay mentions an orphan, a math teacher with acute sepsis, and a forensic doctor. Before finishing, Jee recorded everything. Then she said that without her permission, no one was allowed to read it. Sul Ji immediately wanted to talk privately with Jee. Here Sul Ji asked, why are you so angry when it's your problem? Next, Sul Ji showed her photo of finding a lost child, which he took yesterday from Jee's phone. He knew everything about himself as an orphan who had just lost his father. He is also a math teacher at this school. In addition, there is a video where Jee threatens Kim Nazi. When she learned that Kim Nazi was using stimulants and then threatened to post this video on social networks. At that time, Kim Nazi immediately knelt down to beg for forgiveness to Jee's gloating. In response, Jee asked, why did he arbitrarily touch other people's things? Jee's point was when Kim Naji always tried to bully Sul Ji. It was also because of fear of Jee that Kim Naji had to change schools. She was also the one who texted Jee to beg to delete this video. Looking at the photos and videos that Sul Ji gave, Jee did not feel the least bit guilty. Instead, Jee thought he should thank me rather than me. Just dealt with the bad guys who used to bully him. Next, Sul Ji wanted to know why he had his father's relics and his information. Before that, Jee got all the information from her father. He prepared everything because he was about to face a lawsuit over the death of Sul Ji's father. But now Jee cannot reveal it. She said that even if she answered, it would be meaningless. In response, Sul Ji firmly said that he didn't know anything about him.
Do you think you feel ashamed of your unfortunate past?
I didn't care at all, and then she left first. Back in class, a friend asked Sul Ji if he really lived in an orphanage. Choi Kyung, sitting above, replied that he didn't know how to read Korean. It's all in the article, so what else can you ask? Then Choi Kyung approached and invited Sul Ji to the student council meeting. Here Choi Kyung asked if his recently deceased father was a dojo the teacher. So what hospital did your father die in? Sul Ji wondered how he knew. Choi Kyung revealed that her mother was the lawyer handling the case. Your stepmother is filing a lawsuit against Jae-yi's father. After listening, Sul Ji-I was very surprised because she didn't know anything. Choi Kyung thinks that with the caliber of Jae-yi's father, it will be easy to calm this matter down. He did not want to go to court because he was afraid it would affect the hospital. They will find a way to reconcile as quickly as possible and are approaching your stepmother. At this point, Sul Ji-I also understood that she would become their next target. Choi Kyung thinks that Jae-yi's friendship with him also affects this lawsuit. One day they will play on your feelings to get a conciliatory signature. After a while, Sul Ji-I asked Choi Kyung why he told her all this. She said that maybe it was because she had an inferiority complex when standing next to Jae-yi. Immediately after that, Sul Ji-I received a series of messages from Jae-yi, but she did not reply to any of them. The next day, Sul Ji-I went into her stepmother's room to look for information. She firmly believed that she had something to hide, so she didn't reveal the lawsuit to her. Here Sul Ji-I found her father's insurance certificate. She received up to 500 million won, which seems to be why she wanted to hide it from Sul Ji-I. Immediately after that, Sul Ji-I asked her why she hid the lawsuit from her grandchild. Do you want to swallow all of G Hospital's compensation money? Besides, why are you looking for me?
Why don't you leave me alone at the orphanage?
I will stay here until I finish my university entrance exam. The midterm exam only has 7 days left, but Sul Ji-I's brain tonic is about to run out. So she immediately went to the hospital to ask for more, where the doctor said. Here, the doctor believes that taking medicine to achieve good results is not difficult to understand. But he couldn't list it indiscriminately and wanted Sul Ji-I to take an intellectual ability test, and the cost was 240,000 won. At the same time, Jae was studying and receiving fluids from the doctor. Only then will it help her focus more on her studies. Because she didn't have money to pay for the aptitude test, Sul Ji-I went around to other hospitals to ask for medicine. So Sul Ji-I went around to other hospitals to ask for free medicine. But there was no place that would prescribe medicine for her. On the way back to Sul Ji-I, she received a phone call from a sister at the orphanage. She offered to borrow some money, but she didn't have enough money to lend it to her. Sul Ji-I then surfed social networks to find the medicine she needed. She saw a site selling it. She texted to ask, but they forced her to enter the password. Here, Sul Ji-I saw that the page often posted photos of paper nuts. She immediately remembered that Woo Ri often gave her identical paper seeds. The strange thing is that there is always a series of numbers inside. Sul Ji-I immediately entered that number, and it was indeed the password to buy real medicine. But the person behind the drugstore is Jae, while Woo Ri is just the customer service person. They then texted each other about the transaction address. Woo Ri told her to put 100,000 won in the cleaning kit in the game room and gave her the password to open the locker. Sul Ji-I immediately went there and put 100,000 won in the cabinet. A moment later, Jae came to get the money and put the medicine back in the cabinet. But before he could leave, Sul Ji-I appeared. Here she took off her mask because there was no need to hide her identity anymore. Jae asked Sul Ji-I if his study method was only like this. Meetings like this will cause trouble for each other. So just pretend we've never met. Besides, the medicine you ordered is out of stock, so I gave you an even stronger one.
Seulji wants to know what kind of medicine it is.
But Jae said it was a business secret. Feeling insecure, Sul Ji-I didn't want to take the medicine anymore but wanted her money back. But Jae thought that everyone in school used drugs to plow, so he could rest assured. If you score higher than me on the upcoming exam, I will let you know. How did I get this information about you and why did I keep it? Next, Jae gave Sul Ji-I exam review materials at the tutoring center. It seemed like she wanted to challenge Sul Ji-I to beat her in this exam. After opening the black bag that Jae sent, there was a yellow medicine inside. Sul Ji-I believed it and immediately drank it. Sul Ji-I immediately felt an abnormality in her body. She started having hallucinations when water kept pouring into the room. Then water suddenly flew out from the glass in front of her eyes, causing her panic. On this side, Woo Ri suddenly found a karaoke bar. The manager asked her what she was here for since she still looked like a student. "You look so beautiful. You should become an actress." In response, Woo Ri said that I am not an actress but will go to college. I came here just to earn tuition money. The manager wants Woo Ri to think carefully because once she steps in here, she won't be able to get out. After listening, it seemed like Woo Ri didn't want to embark on this path anymore. Previously, Woo Ri's mother was a waitress at a theater. At that time, she really didn't want her mother to follow this path at all. Right after that, Woo Ri went straight into the karaoke room, grabbed the mic, and sang innocently. Standing outside, her mother witnessed this. She believed her daughter had exceptional artistic talent, so she quit her job to focus entirely on supporting her. She took Woo Ri everywhere to try out roles. She even didn't let Woo Ri eat anything for 3 days to stay in shape. However, when she auditioned, Woo Ri was eliminated in the car parking round. In order for Woo Ri to pass, she had to give her performance to him. Standing outside, Woo Ri witnessed everything. At that time, Woo Ri promised not to tell this story to his father. In response, she wanted her mother to let her eat everything she liked, and of course she couldn't refuse. From that day on, she also quit her acting career. When Woo Ri grew up, she still held her mother's weakness. Whatever she asked for, she had to give it all. Woo Ri loves to learn and understand other people's weaknesses. Because according to her, maybe one day they will be useful to her. Then one day Woo Ri approached Jee's father to blackmail him. Because she has a secret about his first daughter. Here Woo Ri asked if he was looking for Jenna, right? Everyone thought she was burying her head in studying for university retakes. But it seems that's not the case. Ji also doesn't know about this, right? If she goes missing, you can absolutely report it to the police for investigation. You can't do that because there's a reason behind it, right? His mouth can easily go too far, so he needs something to close it. He said he needed to think more about this. At the same time, he also wanted to know what Woo Ri would bring him. Back to reality, Woo Ri is preparing medicine to sell to those in need. At that time, Jee texted and said, "From now on, if you don't have an order, you can't act even if you have an order." Woo Ri immediately refused to sell medicine to her friend, even though she begged for everything. The midterm exam was also taking place that day. Before the exam, the teacher gave out the exam. Ji was a pill bought from Jee. Next, she looked again at the documents that Jee had given her the day before. Right after that, the teacher made everyone put all their books in their bags to prepare for the exam. Ji was really surprised when the exam questions were exactly the same as the documents Jee gave her. She glanced at Jee and received a wink in return. The next day, the test results were available and posted in front of the notice board. It's no surprise that both Ji and Jee are ranked number 1 in their school. Meanwhile, the girl who couldn't buy the medicine seemed very angry because she was left out of the top 20. She turned to blame Ji for causing her to be like that, while Ji doesn't understand anything. Right after that, Ji received a phone call from her senior at the orphanage. He was in front of the school gate and was waving to her. Afraid that other friends would notice, Ji had to ignore it. Only one person, Woo Ri, realized the connection between they. Ji's exam results made the teacher very surprised. She wanted to know how Ji did it. Ji cannot reveal it, and she wants to skip her upcoming routine health checkup. This makes the teacher even more confused because this is the benefit of the top 20. At that moment, Choi Kyung entered, asking the teacher to clarify his 5th question. However, the teacher did not accept it and said that the result was externally wrong. Outside, Choi Kyung angrily tore up his exam paper. At the same time, she won again, making her blood boil even more. On this side, Woo Ri asked Ji if the guy outside the gate was her boyfriend, but she rejected. At the same time, Choi Kyung was present and she gave up the health check to Woo Ri. At the same time, she really wanted to know Ji's secret to studying. Choi Kyung was really disappointed with the results of this exam. Right after that, Ji arranged to meet her senior at the youth camp. Here he asked her if her friends knew that she was addicted to drugs. "This time I found it myself, or where did I buy it?" Ji lied and said that after moving here, she quit smoking. But how could he believe that without taking drugs, she ranked number 1 in the school? He immediately pulled Ji into the dressing room and put a knife to her neck. He asked about the whereabouts of the girl Sojin, who called Ji a few days ago to borrow money. When Ji said he didn't know where she was, he forgave her. He also knew that Ji often embezzled money when selling drugs. This is understandable because Ji needs money to make ends meet. He knows that but always ignores her. Ji then got on the bus to go to the hospital for a routine health check. Seeing Jee in the car, she immediately ignored it and retreated to the back seat to sit. Woo Ri sat next to Ji and provoked her. "There are people who spend a lot of money to study extra. Yet a guy like you who didn't go to school anywhere ranked first. When arriving at the hospital, everyone must have their urine collected for doctors to analyze. Sul Gi is very worried because she is afraid that her drug use will be revealed. At the same time, she received a text message from Jee saying that she had something that he really needed. Then asked Sul Gi to go to the rooftop to meet her. When she arrived, she saw Jee standing on the railing. She put the urine bottle at her feet, then knelt down and said she was too stupid. From the tutoring center uniform to the final exam. You did everything just to make me kneel before you, but I didn't know.
Now we will do whatever you want.
Do you want to mediate the lawsuit related to your father? I will try to do as you wish. In return, I want you to help me stay safe. I'm very afraid of feeling isolated and bullied by you guys. So please help me not to have problems with my health check results. Studying is very important to me at this time. It is my only guardian and a shield to protect me from those around me. However, Jee said that he was not interested in that reconciliation. But I will agree. Help you stay safe. Jee gave Sul Gi a bottle of urine that does not contain banned substances. Sul Gi next asked Jee why he had information about his father and me here. Jee also told all the truth. I got it from my dad's office and found out he was being sued for medical malpractice. But I didn't expect to have so much information from his father, stepmother, and even him. Before leaving, Jee said a meaningful sentence that let's see what he can do for her. While under anesthesia for a health check, Sul Gi had a dream about her childhood past. She stood in front of the sea and called her parents' names in loneliness. At that moment, Jee appeared from nowhere and led her away. It's the same as the reality when Jee always mysteriously helps her. Back to reality, Woo Ri quietly walked to Sul Gi's bed and took the bracelet. Attached was her father's phone. It was all caught by Yi Ji. When she went to check, Sul Gi's bracelet was gone. Jee wondered what he got it for. But she never expected Woo Ri to even take the phone. That night at the festival, Jee texted Won Ri and said, Woo Ri looks a bit strange today, so you have to stay close to the monitor. Meanwhile, Jee is always close to Sul Gi without leaving anywhere. At the same time, Sul Gi's senior was also present. On the other side, Woo Ri checked Sul Gi's father's phone and it was out of battery again. At this time, Bom Su vomited because she had taken a lot of medicine before. Woo Ri took this opportunity to ask Bom Su to find a phone charger for her. In return, she will let Bom Su participate in the blind date program. Woonie was also here, so she heard everything, so she immediately informed Jee that Woo Ri needed to charge his phone. But it seems that the phone is not his. Then Jee told Woonie to continue following Woo Ri closely. Seeing his daughter being close to Sul Gi, Jee's father did not like it at all. He approached and told them both not to drink carbonated water because it was not good. But Sul Gi still stubbornly drank it. Next, he said not to eat grilled meat because it contains substances that can cause cancer. But Sul Gi still ate and said that her father didn't get cancer because of eating burnt meat. My father didn't get cancer from eating burnt meat, but he still died early. If people live here and die tomorrow, who knows? Even though she knew Sul Gi was provoking her father, Jee felt very happy. Because she actually doesn't like her father at all. On this side, Choi Kyung met Woo Ri and asked about Sul Gi's whereabouts. But she said that after the medical examination, he was nowhere to be found. Woo Ri also thanked Choi Kyung for letting her go for a routine health checkup. To repay her, she invited Choi Kyung to participate in the blind date. On the other side, another girl pulled in the senior guy from the orphanage. They will have 3 minutes to ask everything about each other. Seeing that Choi Kyung seemed to have back pain, so he gave her a medical patch. Then he asked her if she knew that her car said grade 12. If using stickers is effective, please tell Sul Gi. Right after that, he left and encountered Woo Ri, who was also entering the room. Woo Ri was looking for a phone charger and she discovered it under the table. She left Sul Gi's father's phone here and left. Over here, after an evening of playing with Jee, Sul Gi felt very comfortable. Here, Sul Gi also honestly told Jee that she still couldn't trust him. But I feel very happy when I'm with you. Meanwhile, Woo Ri quietly went to meet Jee's father. He immediately asked about the phone, but she told her that Sul Gi had two. Please tell me clearly which one you want to get. Even though Woo Ri knew she had taken the phone from Sul Gi's father. But she said that so he could increase his salary. Jee's father immediately promised to give Woo Ri 5 million won. Over there, Woo Ri took a photo of the people's meeting. Over here, Bom Su found the phone charger that Woo Ri needed. At that moment a girl walked in. Bom Soo immediately realized that it was Jee's older sister, Jenna. On the other side, Jee received the photo that Woo Ri sent. She immediately realized it was her father's car. At the same time, Choi Kyung found Sul Gi because she couldn't call her. Right after that, Jee asked permission to go first. Sul Gi checked her backpack and didn't see her father's phone anywhere. This made her really panic. Woo Ri showed Jee where Woo Ri was charging that phone. At the same time, she also heard that it belonged to the teacher. Jee walked into the room to look around, and that's when the phone rang. She immediately picked up the phone, but the person on the other end didn't say anything. Jee then sat in the bathroom trying to unlock her phone. She remembered that in Sul Gi's father's lost child flyer, he mentioned the child's lost date. Jee immediately entered that number, and it was indeed the real password. Here she saw a text message that someone sent to threaten Sul Gi's father. Inside there is also a video of Sul Gi's father being intimate with a girl. Jee looked panicked when that girl was her older sister Jenna. Jee immediately went to the room in the video. On the other hand, Bom Soo happily brought the charger to Woo Ri. But now it doesn't matter anymore when the phone is gone. At the same time, Sul Gi was also looking for her father's phone. Knowing that, Jee's father told Woo Ri to go find her and help her. Looking into the eyes of these two people made Sul Gi feel very suspicious. While high, Bom Soo told Jee's father that he had just seen Jenna and she was much thinner. Woo Ri thought Bom Soo was talking nonsense, so she pushed her down. Bom Soo seemed crazy, so he held a knife in his hand and kept criticizing. Woo Ri replied that Woo Ri thought that Bom Soo was the type of paranoid who always thought she was the victim. That's why Jee stopped playing with you. After hearing this, Bom Soo immediately attacked Woo Ri, but the slash did not hit. Next, Bom Soo turned to stab Sul Gi, injuring her and then collapsing. Everyone around seemed extremely panicked. Above the room where Jee was standing, someone quietly walked in, making her really worried. That person slowly walked towards Jee and took off his hat. Turns out to be Jee's older sister Jenna. Talking a little about Jenna, since she was young, she was an understanding child. In the test that her father gave to her two sisters, she deliberately gave the wrong answer. She would rather be punished than beat her younger sister Jee. But because of that, her father turned to pamper her younger sister Jee more. He is no different from a madman when he always wants to turn normal people into patients. From his wife to his two daughters, he forced him to take medicine. That day, Jenna heard her parents discussing separation. Afraid that Jee would hear her, she covered her sister's ears. Jenna took care of Jee from the smallest things, from washing up for meals to changing clothes for school for my sister. Then one day, Jenna realized that her sister Jee no longer needed her. Then she began to pray to God with a crazy desire. She wanted him to give her an incurable disease that had no cure, to make my parents and sister feel pitiful and pitiful. Right after that request, Jenna suddenly fainted in the middle of the floor. Then her father immediately took her to the hospital for a health check. Jenna was discovered to have sleeping sickness, so she could faint at any time. Over the next few days, Jenna's condition improved and she felt less sleepy. After recovering from the illness, my father had a lot of expectations. Jenna is confident that his daughter will focus more on her studies and will be at the top of the whole school. Then he promised to always stand behind and support Jenna. What he said put Jenna under a lot of pressure. Sitting in class, she was always haunted by the thought that her father would be behind her, watching her. Jenna couldn't concentrate on studying, even though she took a lot of medicine her father gave her. She doesn't know what she will do if she doesn't come first in the next exam. She is so obsessed with her father's expectations that she has to do everything to achieve this goal. That night, Jenna went to the school's teacher's room. She broke the door lock with the intention of stealing the exam questions. Inside, Jenna placed her phone on the bookshelf to use the searchlight. But before she could get it to leave, Sul Gi's father discovered it because she was so scared that Jenna fainted. A moment later, Jenna woke up on the sofa. She was afraid that the teacher would report this to her father, so she knelt down to beg. The teacher immediately asked if this was the first time and why he do that. After hearing that, Jenna burst into tears and said, "Please don't give up on me." Jenna immediately hugged the teacher, and it seemed like she wanted to use her love to silence him. The instructor tried to stop Jenna but accidentally touched her smartwatch. Then the phone on the shelf switched to recording mode and no one knew. Returning to reality, Jenna revealed to Jee that her father had killed the dojo. At the same time, Jenna wanted to take his phone from her sister's hand. However, Jee insisted on not giving it while they struggled, and the phone fell down below. Jee immediately ran down to get it back, and Jenna jumped down through the window. Before Jenna could find the phone, the security guard showed up and shined a light. She was so haunted that seeing the security guard turn into a police officer, she immediately ran away. When Jee got there, the phone was still there. At the same time, the school announced that the festival had ended and invited the students to return to class. On this side, Choi Kyung secretly took the knife that Bom Soo used. At the same time, Jee came over and asked what happened. Choi Kyung said that Sul Gi was injured and his father took him to the hospital. Jee seemed very worried, so she immediately ran there. On the other side, while Woo Ri was looking for tape, the principal brought Bom Soo to ask questions if she used drugs. Hearing that, Bom Soo was startled and dropped the glass in her hand. Standing hidden inside, Woo Ri also understood a bit. Meanwhile, Jee rushed into the operating room because she was afraid her father would do something to Sul Gi. She was now anesthetized and he was preparing to stitch the wound. Then he gave the needle and thread to Jee so his daughter could try sewing. Jee held Sul Gi's hand tightly as if to show her concern for her father. She said that Sul Gi grew up in an orphanage, so her diet was very poor. Therefore, the layer of skin under the fat does not have any elasticity. But since she's your friend, I'll try my best not to leave a scar. After hearing this, Jee suddenly wanted to sew Sul Gi's wound herself. On the other side, in the classroom, the teacher confiscated all things suspected of containing banned substances. Even digestive medicine she did not skip. Then she told Choi Kyung to check her classmates' lockers, but there was nothing. There were only 3 people absent today who could not be tested. A moment later, Sul Gi left the operating room when her stepmother rushed over. She blamed Jee's father because he was still used to operating on patients without the guardian's consent. Is my husband not enough yet he touches my daughter too? I will transfer her to the hospital right now. In response, he said that if there was still another hospital at this time, she could just transfer. However, if the wound has just been sutured, it will be very susceptible to infection. You need to sign a consent form before you can leave. Jee's father then sat down to check Bom Soo's medical records. He believes that at this level, the symptoms are severe. Meanwhile, Sul Gi's medical records did not reveal anything unusual. Returning home, Jee received a phone call from Woo Ri. She revealed that Bom Soo had taken drugs, that's why she stabbed Sul Gi. What if it comes out that we sell drugs? Jee believes that this matter has nothing to do with it. Before, I told you absolutely not to trade directly. Why did you arbitrarily sell medicine to Bom Soo? But I'm just the seller and you're the supplier. In response, Jee told Woo Ri not to worry too much and not to show up. Just keep your mouth shut like I said. What worries Woo Ri the most is that Sul Gi knew about Jee selling drugs. If he opened his mouth, both of them would be finished. This also makes Jee very worried. On this side, Choi Kyung's mother wants to take the knife that Bom Soo stabbed Sul Gi with. Choi Kyung had intended to use it to report to the police because the school wanted to cover up everything. But mom didn't want Kyung to act hastily, because then she will have trouble entering university. The video in which Bom Soo attacks Sul Gi is spreading across social networks. The senior at the orphanage laughed happily when he saw it, and so did Jee's father. On this side, Sul Gi woke up in the hospital bed and was also watching that video on social networks. At this moment, Jee suddenly appeared and hugged her from behind. Right after that, Jee took Sul Gi outside to get some fresh air to relieve stress. Here Jee said that sometimes he imagines his dog dying.
I'm afraid it'll be sad if it dies in the future.
Lately, I've been imagining the scene where you die. After hearing Sul Gi, I was really stunned. A moment later, Sul Gi asked Jee if he saw his phone. It was my dad's phone, but I lost it. That phone has a password, so I can't open it yet. Surely you know my father, right? Jee immediately said that he had never taught him before. But it seems that he is not a good person, so there must be rumors that he slept with students. Sul Gi immediately said that it probably wasn't like that. But Jee said that wasn't a blessing. You will be less wronged than if your father was a good person. Sul Gi was really surprised by what Jee told her. Angrily told Jee that he looked really pitiful. Not everyone was like you. Returning to the hospital, the door was suddenly locked. So Sul Gi had to find another way to enter. At that moment, she accidentally saw a horrifying scene. Jee-Yi's father is directing his men to shield something that looks very much like a body. They put it in the truck and quickly left. Immediately after that, Sol-Ji went through the back door to get inside the hospital. She received a phone call from her senior at the orphanage. He provoked Sol-Ji because thanks to taking medicine, she became the head of the school along with the principal's daughter. At that moment, Sol-Ji saw a suspicious black bag in the other room. She panicked when she learned that it contained the deceased's body. At the same time, Jee-Yi's father appeared behind her, making her even more panicked. Sol-Ji had to turn off the phone and said she would call me back later. Jee-Yi's father said that he wanted to go to medical school, right?
Have you ever seen a body?
Sol-Ji was scared, so she wanted to go back to her room, but he stopped her. He said that the bodies here were all anonymous. To be able to operate more perfectly, he practices with these bodies every day. There was no money for a funeral, so the family refused to accept the body. Wouldn't it be good for both sides to collect the bodies of these poor people and cremate them cleanly? Sol-Ji is still very scared. She opened the door to escape, but it was locked. He immediately said that if you want to go to medical school, you must not be afraid of blood and surgical instruments. You'll experience it soon. He opened the door for Sol-Ji to leave. On this side, Jee was electrocuted by her sister Jenna and then fainted. After Jee woke up, Jenna immediately asked about the teacher Do-Hook's phone. Jee asked if Dad knew about the relationship between her and Do-Hook. That's why my father killed him. Do you have any evidence? Jenna immediately said that the witness was me and you didn't know how scary he was. However, Jee did not carry that phone with her. She gave Jenna another phone and told her to remember to answer. I will call Hook's phone later. I won't tell Dad about how we met, so you don't have to worry. The next day, the police were present at the classroom to continue investigating the incident that happened last night. A female student in class declared that Bom Soo had no friends. But he wasn't bullied, just separate yourself from the group. Another person declared that Bom Soo often took medicine, and Choi Kyung said he didn't look well. I kept sweating like I was bathing and drinking a lot of water. Woo Ri said that Bom Soo is not in the top 20 students. If Sol-Ji hadn't transferred to school, everything would have been different. He must have been angry, that's why he did that. The police officer asked Jee that according to other friends, she was the closest person to Sol-Ji. Jee didn't answer but instead asked him what he was curious about Sol-Ji. At the same time, the stepmother took Sol-Ji to school. She always told me that even if someone apologizes, I should not accept it. Right after that, the principal invited Sol-Ji to her room because Bom Soo's parents were also there. Bom Soo's family wondered and asked the principal, "It's okay if Sol-Ji doesn't have a guardian here." The principal said that she came from an orphanage, so she didn't have one. Bom Soo's family was about to leave, but Sol-Ji said that she also had a guardian. The person she mentioned was her stepmother.
A moment later Seul-Ji's stepmother was here.
The principal was upset when someone reported this to the police. She believes that this matter is not too serious, so it should just be resolved internally. In response, Sol-Ji's stepmother said that since someone was injured, the perpetrator must be punished. But before fixing the problem, we should have started with a sincere apology. The other side is Bom Soo family's lawyer. Believes that if you look at the outcome of the incident, it is true that Bom Soo was wrong. But the reason came from Sol-Ji himself, and he told Bom Soo to tell the whole truth. Bom Soo claimed that because her midterm exam results were not good, she was very tired. So Sol-Ji gave her medicine and told her that after taking it, her spirit would improve. Sol-Ji seemed extremely surprised and kept saying that she had never given medicine to Bom Soo. Sitting across from Bom Soo, he said he wasn't selling drugs. Just take 6 white pills and 1 pink pill and you'll get high. While Sol did nothing and she didn't understand why Bom Soo lied like that. Everyone in this room is a big fry and is against Sol-Ji. The homeroom, the teacher said that I had already checked Sol-Ji's locker. At the same time, everyone in the class said that there had been such things recently. 3 principals want to meet the school anti-violence committee to discuss Sol-Ji's expulsion. The stepmother and Sol-Ji both strongly objected to this issue due to being unobvious. Right after that, the police wanted to ask Sol-Ji if she got the medicine from the hospital. What do you do with that medicine, or do you sell it to a friend for money? Sol-Ji immediately denied everything, but the police said there was evidence. The day I returned the health examination results, I went near the hospital's medicine storage room. It turned out that Jee told Sol-Ji to go everywhere in the hospital that day before meeting on the rooftop. Now she suddenly remembered this. At this point, Sul Gi had to reveal Jee's name. It's him who sells drugs to students for money, not me. Immediately after that, the homeroom called Wu Ri to meet the police and Sul Gi was able to return to class. A moment later, Wu Ri told Jee that it was the mouth of Sul Gi, whom he trusted, who told him his name. This has been wrong from the beginning. Even if everything falls apart, he still has a talented father behind him. I'm really stupid to believe you. Outside, Jee heard a conversation between his father and the principal. He said that this was related to little Sul Gi. Everything will be resolved soon, so don't worry too much. Returning to class, Jee wanted to talk privately with Sul Gi, but she said she had nothing to say. At the same time, Sul Gi said that she didn't feel sorry for him at all. If I didn't do it, why should I take the blame instead? Do you think people like me can't speak up when they're being trampled on? Jee suddenly told Sul Gi that he did well. At the same time, Sul Gi's senior was also present. Seeing that, she immediately pulled him away. Returning home, he asked about the painkillers. Sul Gi immediately took it out of her bag to give it to him. That was the medicine she was given for her injury, but she hadn't taken a single pill in recent days. Next he asked Sul Gi where she bought the medicine last time. She said she bought it online. In order to take over the drug market in Seoul, he wants to arrest the drug seller and beat him to get the right to do business. He immediately forced Sul Gi to put the medicine where she bought it. Then he wanted the login account she was texting. On this side, Jee asked Dad if he would really turn Sul Gi into a criminal. Even if he says you're a drug dealer 100 times, no one will believe you. Here he also advised Jee to stop selling drugs to those kids. But Jee said that your playing could trample on Sul Gi's dream. I know that Dad stole the doctor's phone, because there's something extremely interesting in there that's still left after Dad killed him. He responded that if you want to see that girl as a student rapist's daughter, then go ahead. That's how cruel our Jee is. Jee wanted to call her sister to see if it was really rape, but her father immediately stopped her. At this point, Jee also understood that his father did not know whether it was a rape or not. The next day, when Sul Gi went to class, she received a text message from her senior. He sent the time and place for her to pick up the medicine. Sul Gi still doesn't know whether Wu Ri or Jee is the person behind this trading message. After school ended, Sul Gi quickly left the classroom, making Jee curious. She checked the personal locker in the clubroom and didn't see any pills. Jee immediately went to Bungie to ask about it and found out that she had sold it all. Jee fears it is Sul Gi's trap. If he colluded with the police to catch him red-handed, we'll both be done for. In response, Wu Ri said not to worry because he had already reported it to the police. Previously, Wu Ri used the school phone to reveal the transaction location at a locker at Gangnam Station. Hearing this made Jee extremely panicked. She immediately grabbed Wu Ri's phone and immediately ran there. Jee calls Sul Gi to stop her, but she doesn't pick up. After that, she texted her sister, Enna, and told her that she would return the doctor's phone to her. Come and meet me at Gate 4 of Gangnam Station. Here, Jenna texted Sul Gi's stepmother that she'll be late and she'll bring your husband's phone. That I'll be a little late and I'll bring your husband's phone. Meanwhile, the senior guy received news that the transaction point was moved to door number 8. So he immediately texted Sul Gi about the new location. At the same time, Jenna arrived at the station and received a phone call from Jee. She said that I had put the phone in the personal locker at door number 4. When Jenna went to open the cabinet, she only saw a pile of pills. She knew she had been tricked, so she ran away. Standing nearby, the senior saw this. On the other side, Sul Gi went to door number 8 and saw Jee. She immediately pulled Sul Gi away without saying anything. After Jenna ran outside, she was taken away by 2 strange men. They put Jenna in the ambulance and left, and behind was her father. From a young age, Mr. John was a very eccentric child. He used to expose everything, from teddy bears to fish and meals, with the hope of reading their thoughts. Then one day, his family was walking on the road when they saw a mouse run over by a car. His parents immediately dug a hole to bury it carefully. But that night, out of curiosity, Tae-jun dug it up. At this time, his hands were covered in blood, and that was also the moment that brought him to the profession of a surgeon. Later, Mr. Tae-jun undertook many different surgeries, but he could not understand other people's thoughts. This made him very desperate. Seeing her father in surgery, Jee outside did the same with the teddy bear. Mr. Tae-jun saw this and began to have more faith in that. Jee will be the one chosen to continue on the path that she has not been able to. Back to reality, Jee explains to Sul Ji that it was all a trap set by Woo Ri. At the same time, she also wanted to know who the guy who told Sul Ji to come get the medicine really was. Sul Ji revealed that he was the first person to give her medicine. Even though it's not good, thanks to him, my grades increased and I'm no longer bullied. They then returned to door 4 of the station, but the medicine in the cabinet had been taken. Jee immediately called her sister, but could not reach her. Sul Ji wondered if Jenna had been taken away by the police. Jee calmly replied that he called to get her arrested, which made Sul Ji really surprised. They went to the police station to look for Jenna, but she wasn't here. Jee couldn't think of anywhere Jenna could go because she didn't know anything about her sister. Sul Ji felt insecure, so she wanted Jee to call her one more time. Surprisingly, Jenna's phone rang again this time, but no one answered. Jee checked the location and found its location was in her house. Jee immediately took the car home. She ran into Jenna's room, but she wasn't there. Jee continued to call Jenna when the phone rang again in her room. At the same time, her father appeared behind her, startling her. Seeing his daughter caught in the rain, he looked worried. I'm afraid Jee has a cold that will affect her upcoming mock exam. He also advised Jee to take a hot bath and go to the hospital tomorrow for a checkup. Right after that, Jee checked the secret box and the doctor's phone was gone. She also discovered that the balcony door was suddenly opened again. On this side, when Sul Ji returned home, she saw many missed calls from her seniors. But she didn't return any phone calls. The next day, the school organized an education session to prevent drug abuse and drug addiction. At this time, the video in which Jee threatened Kim Naji was suddenly posted on social networks. Everyone in the school received notification of this video. There are many comments mentioning Jee's ultimate power that no one dares to touch. I don't know who posted it, but Jee seemed extremely pleased. At the same time, the police suddenly showed up and released a video at the train station. Police revealed that illegal drug transactions took place there yesterday. If anyone knows who the girl appearing in the video is, please report it to the police. At the same time, the principal walked in and appeared very angry when the police suddenly came to the school without any announcement. In response, the police officer said that yesterday's news was sent from inside the school. Do you know anything about this? Sitting below, Jee said that she knows who the camera recorded. She was constantly shy about revealing that it was Jenna, the daughter of the director of the medical center and also my older sister. Everyone sitting below looked stunned. I have seen my sister steal medicine at my father's hospital many times. Maybe Bom Soo also bought medicine from her at school. Because on the day of the festival, she was also at school. The police officer immediately asked where Jenna was now, and Jee said he didn't know. She disappeared after failing her university entrance exam. You guys must definitely find my sister. Outside, Sul Ji wondered and asked Jee why he did that since it was unnecessary. But Jee thinks it would be much better if the police found her before her father. On the other side, Bom Soo secretly arranged to meet Woo Ri to get something. Here, Woo Ri asked if it was a lie that he claimed to buy medicine from Sul Ji. Whose idea was that, but Bom Soo didn't dare say it. On this side, Jee and Sul Ji secretly went to the school's monitoring room. Here, Jee found a security camera recording her sister appearing at school on the festival day. They were surprised to see Choi Kyung and Jenna having a conversation. These people were very curious about what they said to each other. That night, they went to the tutoring center to follow Choi Kyung. Sul Ji immediately called her and asked where he was. Choi Kyung said she was having dinner with her mother and then turned off the phone. However, right after that, Choi Kyung walked out of the tutoring center. Because of this lie, they both became more curious about Choi Kyung. So they silently followed her. Looking at Choi Kyung getting on this bus, Sul Ji understood where she wanted to go. She immediately told Jee that we should all go home today. Jee pretends to agree, but she secretly follows Sul Ji. When Sul Ji arrived home, she accidentally bumped into Choi Kyung. She immediately asked why he was in front of her house. Choi Kyung confusedly said that she didn't know this was his house. It turns out that Choi Kyung was the one who reported the incident at school to the police. She was also the one who revealed to Sul Ji's stepmother about her husband's mysterious death. At the same time, Jee also took a taxi. Jee then asked Choi Kyung about his conversation with Jenna that night. After a moment of hesitation, Choi Kyung said that she asked me to keep the secret of how I met her. Because your relationship with your sister is not good at all. I've known you for 6 years. But have you ever talked about your sister? Choi Kyung angrily said that because she was suspected of selling illegal drugs, she mentioned her sister. If I were Jenna, I would have given up on you a long time ago. He only knows himself and never cares about what the people around him are thinking. At that moment, Jee got an anonymous phone call. The other person revealed that I know where Jenna is now. If you want to know specifically, bring 30 concertin pills to this address before 1 o'clock tonight. After hearing this, Jee immediately ran home. Seeing that, Sul Ji and Choi Kyung also followed her. When Jee returned to her room, she immediately took out the medicine from the desk box to transact. When I ran outside, my 2 friends were still here. Sul Ji knew about it, so she also wanted to go with Jee. Standing next to Choi Kyung, he thought that they couldn't go to the bar dressed like this. Right after that, the 3 went into Jee's room to change their new appearance. From clothes to hair to look like a playboy as much as possible. However, Choi Kyung is not used to dressing like this. When they arrived at the bar, Jee and Sul Ji were both let in. As for Choi Kyung, they doubted her age because she looked like a high school student. Jee immediately took off Choi Kyung's glasses and said that it was just because of this. The transaction location is the restroom of this bar. Jee immediately went there, put the medicine in the water tank and left. Standing outside Sul Ji will be responsible for tracking down who the mysterious person is. Choi Kyung wondered why the caller was a man and why the transaction point was a women's restroom. Jee thought it was very possible that they had accomplices. She and Choi Kyung will stay out here to observe the most suspicious people. A moment later, a very suspicious drunk guy entered the women's restroom. Sul Ji immediately informed the second team about this. When that suspicious guy left, Sul Ji followed. At the same time, another girl walked in. Discot koi kyung se. Standing in the next bathroom, Choi Kyung was surprised to see Woo Ri. After being arrested in battle, Woo Ri apologized to everyone. The reason she needed that medicine was because she wanted to resell it to make money. Jee promised that she would give all the medicine if she told the truth. Woo Ri admitted that she had previously stolen Sul Ji's father's phone. Because his father promised to pay him a good salary, but then it was taken away by someone. His father must have contacted Bom Soo because on the night of the festival, his face turned pale. At the same time, I firmly believe that he still hasn't found Jenna. So I think if you throw bait, you'll probably catch it. I really need money because my family is bankrupt. The house was also auctioned off, so I couldn't go back anymore. So I've been sleeping in the sauna for a long time. Sul Ji gently told Woo Ri that he should be careful when staying there at night. She didn't blame Woo Ri, even though she had previously stolen her father's phone. Choi Kyung is convinced that the phone contains something very important inside. At the same time, the senior guy was also present because he had previously met Jee in the bar. He immediately asked if you guys were looking for this girl's older sister. Woo Ri immediately showed Jenna's photo and the senior immediately recognized it. He had met Jenna at the festival when she climbed the fence to escape. At that time, he even picked up Jenna's ID card. The person he was looking for, and apparently she sold it to Jenna. Right after that, Sul Ji wanted to talk privately with the senior. She asked if he met Jenna that day at the train station. Finding her would help to catch Sajin soon. The senior admitted he saw Jenna, right like she was kidnapped. Over here, Jee received a phone call informing her that Jenna had been found. On the other hand, Mr. Tae-jun refused to let the police examine his body. Jenna and Jee also came here at the same time. According to the doctor here, Jenna fell from the mountain. It looked like he had hit his head on a rock, so his face was deformed. Jee was truly shocked when she witnessed her sister's scene. The next day, Sul Ji saw her friends painting their toenails yellow, and she remembered something. The body she saw that day at the hospital was also painted yellow and had burns on its legs. Up there, a group of friends were discussing whether Jee was the one who pushed her sister down the mountain. After hearing this, Sul Ji got angry and threw balls continuously at them. Seeing that, Woo Ri walked over and whispered something into Sul Ji's ear that stunned her. Meanwhile, Choi Kyung sneaks into the school's surveillance room. She plans to delete the video that the camera recorded 2 years ago. That evening, Choi Kyung silently went to class alone, sat in the chair and began to wander as usual. At that moment, a light passed by, startling her. Choi Kyung tried to leave quietly but accidentally overheard a conversation between the Do-hook teacher and Jenna. At that moment, Jenna begged the teacher to close his eyes and ignore everything. Out of curiosity, Choi Kyung peeked through the door tray. She was stunned when she saw Jenna hugging the teacher. Then they gave each other sweet kisses. Back to reality, Choi Kyung plans to delete that video. But before I could do it, Suzy suddenly appeared behind me. So Choi Kyung had to tell Suzy everything. Over here, Jee had a strange dream in which someone was trying to chase her in the dark night. Then suddenly there was an arm on the ground holding her back. Jee was really scared. Then she reached for the stone in front of her eyes and repeatedly hit the person behind her. Only here did Jee realize that it was her older sister Jenna. At this moment, Jee suddenly woke up and it was just a dream. Immediately afterward, Jee called Sul Gi to her house to talk. Sul Gi followed this puppy and saw Jee in her sister Jenna's room. Here Jee told Sul Gi everything about her father. A respected teacher sleeps with his student. Before that, Woo Ri whispered into Sul Gi's ear about Jee holding her father's phone. Sul Gi asked Jee if he had seen what was inside the phone and why did you find that password. Jee reveals that that was the day he went missing. Now I have lost that phone and I thought Jenna took it. Sul Gi thought Jee was lying, so she searched everything to find it. Seeing that, Jee immediately hugged Sul Gi back. Then she mentioned a story her father had told her when she was a child. There was a brother who killed his younger brother out of jealousy. I always thought that maybe my sister would kill me, but in my dream I smashed her head. I saw her die and felt strangely at ease, and I really hoped she would be caught by the police. That must be so for everyone to live. In response, Sul Gi said that he knew this was not his fault. Jee also thinks that Jenna is so shy that she can't commit suicide. Could it be that her father kidnapped her? Previously, Sul Gi received information from his seniors. Sajin has been selling drugs to Jenna for a long time. She immediately called Sajin but could not reach her. Sul Gi suddenly remembered that Sajin also had a large burn on her foot. The body she saw at the hospital and Jenna's body both had their toenails painted yellow. Both have the same burns, and Jenna's face is no longer intact, so it's impossible to confirm that it's her. Sul Gi then looked at Sajin's profile again. Here, she saw her taking photos at a drug rehabilitation center and Sul Gi immediately went there. She knocked on every door but didn't see Sajin here. According to this girl, there used to be a girl with burns on the back of her feet living in this area. But her condition improved, so she was released from the camp. I heard that I went back to my old room to study for exams. On this side, Choi Kyung and Woo Ri went to the laboratory. According to Bom Soo, Jenna has hidden something here, then Jenna has hidden something here. After a while of searching, Suzy saw Mr. Tae Jun's suspicious nameplate. She immediately opened it, and inside there was a key with the address and room number 209. That night Sul Gi went to Sajin's Motel 208. She immediately asked this guy and found out that the girl was dead. It's been a month since I've seen my rent paid and I haven't seen my room come in or out. So I opened the door to check but couldn't find it anywhere. She had no relatives, so I contacted the police. Sul Gi was about to pay for the room. Help Sajin, but he said there was a thug claiming to be her brother and came to pay. Then he went around to the surrounding stores to help her pay off her debt. When Sul Gi was about to leave, she suddenly encountered Suzy and Choi Kyung. All three then went to room 209 with the key in hand. This is the room where Jenna has been living hidden for so long. The room was filled with mathematical formulas and solutions. Sul Gi saw a diary on the table, but it was locked. She immediately broke the lock like what Jenna did in the teacher's room 2 years ago. Inside the diary, Jenna tells eagerly about Sul Gi's father's death, accompanied by a poster looking for lost children. Jenna has always been haunted by her father, afraid that he will abandon her, and she believes that the reason all stems from her younger sister, Jee. Even Jenna felt scared when she looked into her younger sister's two dark and cold eyes. Jee's face always looks like she's mocking her sister because of realizing everything. This makes Jenna really haunted. The feeling of being an older sister and being inferior to her younger sister was very terrible for Jenna. She always wanted to defeat Jee to regain her father's love. Then one day, Mr. Tae Jun discovered the relationship between Jenna and the teacher. Surprisingly, he didn't blame Jenna at all. On the contrary, he praised his daughter. But behind it are dark conspiracies. Mr. Tae Jun used that video to threaten the boss, forcing him to steal for Jenna's upcoming college entrance exam. Moreover, Mr. Tae Jun also learned that the boss had a missing daughter. He promised to find his daughter to help him. Returning home, the governor didn't want his wife to have to look for Sul Gi anymore. She didn't understand the reason but still insisted on finding her husband's stepdaughter. At that time, she angrily left the house and accidentally bumped into Jenna's body. She dropped the lost children's banner, so Jenna got it. The next day, Ms. Zhang was suddenly removed from the university entrance exam committee for allegedly violating the commitment to maintain confidentiality. What is certain is that Mr. Tae-jun was the one involved. Her replacement is none other than the boss. While he was on his way to the exam board, he received a text from Mr. Tae-jun's message. He revealed that he had found his missing daughter. The captain tried to get out of the car but was immediately stopped by a council member. When he arrived, Mr. Tae-jun continued to send the intimate video with Jenna to the teacher, accompanied by a threat that his daughter probably doesn't want to see this scene. At this point, he couldn't give up. Once he had thrown it away, he had to follow. While the exam committee was discussing, the teacher tried to remember the most difficult questions. Then he went to the bathroom and wrote it down on a small piece of paper and put it in a plastic jar. Then swallow it all in your stomach to fool everyone. Outside, the doctor collapsed due to the pain in his stomach. He was immediately taken to Mr. Tae-jun's hospital. Here, Mr. Tae-jun prepared everything according to the original plan. He performed surgery to remove the exam questions from the doctor's stomach. What's more remarkable is that the assistant is her daughter Jenna. Back to reality, Jenna's burial is about to take place. At this time, Jee left there to go to the morgue. Seeing that, Sul Gi also followed her. Here Sul Gi said that this body was not Jenna's. Sul Gi asked if he knew her sister's legs had a scar like this one. This is my sister Sajin at the orphanage. After she died, no one bothered to look for her body, so they took her to your father's hospital. Besides, Sajin lives right next to your sister's room. Even though she knew that, Jee still pushed Sajin's body into the crematorium to replace her sister. She thinks that her father's plan is to make Jenna a dead person. Then just continue to let him commit as many crimes as possible.
If we ruin Jenna's funeral, my dad will definitely make another plan.
For now, we have to keep it a secret from our father that we already know the truth. Sul Gi also revealed that she had read all of Jenna's diary. She wrote very specifically about her father's death and wanted to find the evidence. Hearing this, Jee had to help Sul Gi do this. She disguised Sul Gi as a medical worker and included her father's office access card. Right after that, Jee went to the hospital surveillance room to turn off the cameras recording Sul Gi. At the same time, the security guard came in and recognized Jee. She quickly claimed her mother instructed her to turn off all the cameras to prevent the VIP guests from being seen. Until your sister's burial ceremony is completed. Then once completed, Jee will return to Jenna's funeral. On this side, Sul Gi broke into Mr. Tae-jun's office and saw a remote control. When she pressed it, a transparent glass door appeared that could be seen below. At this point, Sul Gi suddenly remembered what Jenna had written in the diary. The room down there is where Jenna solves questions taken from the teacher's belly. Up here is Mr. Tae-jun's supervision. At that moment, Jee suddenly walked in, so Jenna immediately hid those questions. Jee offered to help her sister with her homework, but Jenna seemed very angry and continuously chased her sister out. Seeing her father watching from above, Jenna told herself that she absolutely must not cry, because Dad would never give gifts to kids like that. Immediately after that, Sul Gi texted Jee asking if there was any gift that Jenna would like to receive. Jee thinks that she is very similar to her father, so she often cares about anniversaries like Christmas Day or birthday. On this shelf there are many music records arranged by date, and Sul Gi took one out to check. She was stunned when these music records were printed with X-ray images of patients. She immediately found one before the university entrance exam last year. That was also the day her father passed away. Sul Gi panicked when inside was an X-ray photo of her father. It still has the imprint of the plastic bottle containing the exam questions. Sul Gi turned on this record and it sounded even more disgusting, especially when inside is Jenna's favorite song, a sickness that he created. He seemed to want to play on the body of the person he had murdered. So Sul Gi is really extremely angry with that man right now. Sul Gi immediately picked up a knife with the intention of stabbing this sick man. But before she could act, her stepmother suddenly stopped her. She already knew everything before. She felt strange when that little girl Jenna kept hanging around her house. Moreover, there are letters sent to her husband full of affection. After her wealthy husband passed away, she received many meaningful letters. An anonymous person sent it in saying she didn't want to know how her husband died. Or most recently, that person revealed that Jenna was dead. Returning to the stepmother, she did not want Sul Gi to act so impulsively, when she was also looking for evidence to accuse Mr. Tae-jun. Outside, the stepmother revealed to Sul Gi that the fact that he falsely accused me of stealing medicine was just to force her to compromise. But how could she compromise with him? At the same time, Sul Gi saw that his senior was also present. She immediately found him to talk to. Sul Gi asked if he knew the person inside was Sajin, right? I already know that you paid for her room and debt. Then he admitted that he sent Sajin off in a hearse filled with flowers, which was fine. But actually, he came here to make a deal with Mr. Tae-jun when he knew everything behind the scenes. Right after that, Sul Gi gave his father's X-ray photo to Choi Kyung's lawyer mother. But she said it still could not be evidenced. Maybe you think that what's in here is a college entrance exam question. But my father didn't die when he was cut open to get it out. They will argue medical negligence for failing to inform the family about the patient's condition, citing insufficient evidence for a murder charge. Lacks a lot of evidence to charge murder. The operating room did not have security cameras, so Jenna had to testify. Unfortunately, the last witness is no longer in this world. Immediately after that, Sul Gi's stepmother took out the letters sent by the mysterious person. She said that this person knew about Jenna and my husband's relationship from the beginning. This person may have been in the operating room or exam area. Choi Kyung was about to stand up and admit it was all sent by her, but her mother immediately stopped her. She believes that even if the sender is found, it will be difficult to convince them to testify in court. Returning home, Choi Kyung knew full well that her mother did not care about these moneyless medical cases, but still trying to act like a good lawyer. Likewise with my children, I always seem to be a good and responsible mother. I'm not curious why you know about the boss and Jenna. That day, I went to school to explore. Because I feel like I'll be less scared if I study in class before the exam day, and then I accidentally saw the boss and Jenna's scene. I really wanted to talk about this with someone else, but I'm afraid people will ask me why I'm at school at that hour. I just hope JEE fails miserably. If it weren't for her, I would have gotten first place. When I met Jenna at the festival, I told her that I knew everything. If she doesn't say it, I will tell, but she had passed away during this time. Choi Kyung's mother believes that Jenna's death has nothing to do with her child. The same goes for the story of the master being rammed to death. You absolutely will not have to go to court, and you absolutely will not say a word to anyone. Over here, Woo Ri arranged to meet her senior. Woo Ri took out a USB containing a recording of Sul Gi's conversation from her pocket. They are discussing using it to trade with Mr. Tae-jun to make some money. Woo Ri gave it to the senior so he could go meet him. A moment later, the senior and Mr. Tae-jun appeared at the meeting point. He gave the USB to Mr. Tae-jun and asked to keep his previous promise. In the distance, Sul Gi is silently watching these people. JEE was also suddenly present, so she immediately pulled Sul Gi in for fear of being discovered. Immediately afterwards, Sul Gi revealed to JEE that what she said before was a lie. She had previously called JEE and told her that she had found a torn passage in Jenna's sister's diary. Then Jenna recorded a video in the operating room. We need to find it before it falls into your father's hands. At that time, Sul Gi knew Woo Ri was behind the eavesdropping, so she lied like that. Now that Mr. Tae-jun has fallen into the trap, Sul Gi wants to take advantage of that weakness. At the same time, she really wanted JEE to help her in this matter. The next day, they went to Mr. Tae-jun's office. Sul Gi will play the role of searching for the video that Jenna recorded.
And Jay will stand up here to turn Seulgi around.
JEE also placed cameras everywhere her father could go. From his office at the hospital to the car he took. Even more sophisticated, she secretly placed a camera on the dog's collar. JEE opened it, and inside was a conversation between her parents. Here JEE learns that her older sister Jenna is not dead and is locked up somewhere by her father. She also knew that tomorrow her mother would go there to visit her sister. Right after that, JEE and Sul Gi found Choi Kyung to borrow a car. Tomorrow they will follow JEE's mother to see where Jenna is. At the same time, JEE wants Choi Kyung to send word to her mother that Jenna can testify in court tomorrow. Early the next morning, JEE and Sul Gi set out to track her mother. She went very far out of the city, making both of them extremely nervous. At the same time, Mr. Tae-jun's trial is also taking place. Choi Kyung's mother said that the day he died, there was a witness with Mr. Tae-jun in the operating room. We cannot say in advance to ensure the safety of witnesses. After listening, the judge accepted the new witness and adjourned the trial for a few minutes. Meanwhile, Mr. Tae-jun did not show any signs of being worried at all. Over here, Jae-ye's mother suddenly found an orphanage. At this point, both of them realized that they had been deceived and that Jenna could not be here. Sol-ji immediately informed her stepmother that she could not bring Jenna. Jae also seemed extremely upset because he had to accept this trick. When they returned, Mr. Tae-jun's trial had just ended. Because there were no witnesses, he was found innocent. Sol-ji told her stepmother everything, but found Jae-ye's mother teasing her for taking pictures with the orphans. She felt like Jae-ye's mother was trying to tease her when she took pictures with the orphans. The stepmother immediately said that it seemed like she trusted Jae a little too much. They seem to have known about our plan in advance. During the trial, Mr. Tae-jun did not feel insecure as he knew we could never bring Jenna. However, Sol-ji still believes in her friend Jae. On this side, Mr. Tae-jun took Jae somewhere other than the way home. Then he showed his daughter a video after secretly placing a camera on her stepmother's car. Sol-ji on the other side wondered why Jenna was in the operating room. Mr. Tae-jun just needs to give her the exam papers and that's it. At that moment, their car suddenly lost control and crashed straight into a car lying on the side of the road. Luckily, nothing happened to both of them. Witnessing this scene through the camera made Jae very panicked. And of course the person who wanted to assassinate Sol-ji and her daughter was none other than Mr. Tae-jun. He asked Jae if she wanted to know why her sister was in the operating room that day. Then he took Jae to the place where Jenna was held, an isolated house in the deep forest. Here, Jae was stunned when she saw Jenna in this form. She's like a psychopath and doesn't remember anyone at all. Jae took her sister Jenna out, but the doorbell kept ringing. This causes Jenna to panic. Jae immediately asked Mr. Tae-jun what Dad did to her, but he said he didn't do anything. You should ask your sister that question, and then he will tell you. Jae heard that the person who murdered the dojo master was Jenna. In the operating room, Jenna injected him with drugs that stopped his breathing. Jenna wants to please her father, and she thinks that by doing so, her father will be pleased with her. Jae thinks her father is lying, and she doesn't believe Jenna would do that. He immediately said that if there really was a camera in the operating room, I would really like to be innocent. Dad is so tired of what your sister has done. Jenna was also too tired, so Dad helped her erase a little of her memory. In response, Jae said, Dad, stop saying you worked so hard for her. Dad just couldn't accept the fact that he had given birth to a failed child. Mr. Tae-jun was angry and pinned Jae to the wall and said that he did this because of her. I don't want the dirty things your sister does to affect the efforts you have built over the past time. Jae smiled disdainfully at what his father had said. Then she replied that you are different from Jenna and you will become a son that Dad can be proud of. The car repairman found that the tire damage was not due to natural wear. It appeared intentional. The stepmother knows who did it, but she hides this from Sol-ji. She revealed that the tire had been left for too long and was deflated. She knows this car is no longer safe, so she wants to get rid of it. The next day, Jae didn't come to school, so Sol-ji wondered and asked the teacher. She said that Jae was sick, so he couldn't go to school for the time being. Sol-ji sensed something unusual, so she called Jae but couldn't get through. She looked to the places they both often went but couldn't find Jae anywhere. Sol-ji went to the house and called at the door, but no one answered. Soon she went to the hospital to look for Jae but was stopped by medical staff. Choi Kyung opened the door and Sol-ji saw Jae's studying group, but they all acted cold. A moment later, she saw Jae coming down, so Sol-ji saw Jae studying in the group there. But she told me not to come close to her. Jae turned into a different person. Meanwhile, Sol-ji kept asking questions when she heard that her close friend was sick. In response, Jae said, "How did you get first place with that bad head?"
You still don't understand why I'm close to you. From the beginning, I knew everything about Jenna.
The math problem she solved the day before appeared on the university exam. When I saw your name in Jenna's documents, I ensured that the teacher secretly gave her the exam questions. I'm even more certain that the teacher secretly gave her the exam questions, and her transfer is the deal price. Do you know how happy I am to see my father treating you like a thorn in his side and tormenting you up and down? Everything was done by me, from selling drugs to taking the phone cable from the boss, not my father. Sometimes there are dangerous moments that make me afraid he will find out. I'm afraid you'll find out, but luckily you're so easily fooled. But anyway, thank you, because thanks to you I feel very happy. Your family won't be able to beat my family, so you should not find Jenna anymore. Sol-ji was really stunned by what Jae said. but she didn't know they were lies. Jee did so to discourage Sul Gi and stop. Because if she continues to confront her father, Sul Gi will definitely be in danger. Days passed and Sul Gi had to study for the final exam. At this time, her medicine had run out so she couldn't concentrate.
Seul Gi chose not to take medication anymore.
She must face the reality of her true abilities. The ambition to go to medical school also began to narrow from then on. The final exam was also held that day. Sul Gi's body was soaked from the resulting pressure of not being. Taking medicine caused Sul Gi to have many difficulties in answering questions. The exam result was surprising since Sul Gi fell to 20th place. Jee dropped to 5th place and most surprisingly, Choi Kyung rose to the top. While Mr. Tae-jun was burning Jenna's music record and diary. Then Jee showed her father the rankings of the last exam. She said sorry when she couldn't get top 1, but he no longer cares anymore. Right after that, Jee suddenly asked her father to turn her into Jenna. She wanted her father to get her a set of extremely difficult questions from the university entrance exam. On this side, Sul Gi came home and saw that her stepmother had bought a new car. She felt suspicious when she gave up suing him recently. Tae-jun Sul Gi angrily went into the inspection room and couldn't find the insurance contract anywhere. She believes that her stepmother compromised with Mr. Tae-jun. She said she was too tired and didn't want to disappoint Sul Gi's father anymore. But Sul Gi always thought that from the beginning she did it all just for money. Choi Kyung is extremely excited about this top 1 position. She finally defeated Jee after many years of being a double. Right after that, her mother invited Choi Kyung to go to the temple to worship so that he would bless her daughter. Let him bless his daughter with good luck in the upcoming university entrance exam. However, Choi Kyung is not that superstitious. Because behind those great results there is a reason. That night, Woo Ri found her senior to buy the magic medicine. Here she told him about the ranking of the last exam. The senior was not too surprised to hear that Choi Kyung rose to the top position. Because for a long time she secretly bought the magic medicine from him. On this side, Sul Gi held a stone in her hand to Jenna's memorial site. She suddenly broke the glass cabinet to get the bones out. Security immediately discovered and arrested her. A moment later, Mr. Tae-jun was here. Sul Gi challenged him to just sue her. He didn't want any more trouble, so he made an offer. Mr. Tae-jun promised to help Sul Gi get the difficult questions of the entrance exam. He wants to borrow Sul Gi's hand to help Jee achieve this. That night Sul Gi found Jee after many days of trying to avoid her. Here Sul Gi revealed that his father said he would give him a very difficult question. Jee wants her friend to cancel the offer, but Sul Gi wants to know the reason. Jee didn't say a word, making Sul Gi really angry. Sul Gi suddenly climbed onto the jumping bridge. Even though she couldn't swim, she still jumped into Jee's panic. Jee immediately went down to save her friend. After going ashore, Jee had to give first aid to Sul Gi before she became conscious. Sul Gi smiled knowing she was still important to Jee. She also knew that Jee deliberately ruined the final exam and asked her father a very difficult question. Because then Jee will be able to take revenge on his father. Jee said that he knew that, so why did he still want to answer the difficult question? Sul Gi said she couldn't stand by and watch. When he wanted to ruin his own life just because he wanted to catch his father. Just continue to despise and take advantage of me like what had happened. Only this way can we get a set of questions and evidence to incriminate him. Returning home, Jee immediately asked his father if he was really going to give Sul Gi a difficult question. He did not hesitate to reveal that he wanted Sul Gi to be the background for Jee. Mr. Tae-jun is confident that Sul Gi will easily accept that offer. Because everyone wants to go to college to have the opportunity to change their life. Jee wants his father to outline a specific plan and collect all the evidence. If the story of stealing exam questions is revealed, Sul Gi will be the only one to blame. The next day, Sul Gi found Mr. Tae-jun because she accepted the offer. He gave her a set of documents he had investigated about the teacher at the school. Person who holds a seat on the university entrance exam committee. There is evidence that he received bribes. This will be a test of her sincerity towards this cooperation mission. Sul Gi immediately found him and showed him the documents. At the same time, Mr. Tae-jun's people were secretly taking their pictures. The teacher looked at what was inside and was stunned. He immediately asked Choi Kyung what she really wanted. That day Choi Kyung had an interview with the university she wanted to enter. At this time, Choi Kyung was extremely tense and nervous. So our attacker had to go to the bathroom to deal with it. The groan was so loud that people outside heard it and burst into laughter. After solving the problem, the hooker rushed to the room. His clothes were disheveled, making the supervisor surprised. The next day, Sul Gi distributed college admission applications to her classmates. At that time, Jee was out, so Sul Gi came down and brought her to the table. Here she was surprised to see Jee's note that there were 92 days left, while the university exam only has 70 days left, which left her wondering. Meanwhile, Choi Kyung received the results of her interview and she failed. The hooker didn't understand why he couldn't win when he hooked and used medicine at the same time. She wondered if the senior's medicine was a hoax. On this site, Woo Ri received a text message to order someone's magic medicine. Feeling so curious, after placing the transaction at the transaction location, Woo Ri secretly saw who it was. A moment later, Choi Kyung came to get it and was caught by Woo Ri.
Woo ristole the magic medicine, making Choi Kyung extremely angry.
The hooker immediately cursed to his face that he was a bar girl. Recently, Woo Ri's photo taken at the bar is also spreading on social networks. Woo Ri's blood boiled and she asked Choi Kyung if she was the one who posted it. The hooker said that I don't live by revealing other people's secrets like you. Woo Ri advises the hooker not to think he can win against Jee anymore. If you want to study in peace and quiet, you should keep your mouth shut. At the same time, Sul Gi was also present and wanted to know what secret they were both talking about. But no one dared to reveal something. Returning to class, Sul Gi saw a lot of dog hair on Choi Kyung's legs. Feeling curious that night, she arrived at Choi Kyung's house. Here, Sul Gi was surprised to see Jee's dog present at Choi Kyung's house. She asked and Choi Kyung revealed that Jee promised to secretly tutor me on the condition that I adopt his dog. Jee's strange rearrangement of things recently made Sul Gi feel that something was unusual. She immediately ran to the swimming pool where her friend Jee often frequented.
Here Seul Ji sees Jay standing on the jumping bridge.
I thought she would do something foolish, but she didn't. Jee slowly walked down before Sul Gi sighed with relief. Because she knew her father was always watching her, Jee didn't say anything to Sul Gi. She wrote on her glasses to go to Plan B. Before that, Jee felt that her father was planning something else. It's not as simple as last year's exam theft. In addition to bribing the teacher, he also sent a medical staff with him. After learning that his plan was unlikely to succeed, Jee told Sul Gi to withdraw. She wanted to do the rest herself. The reason Jee sent the dog to Choi Kyung was because she knew her father had placed a surveillance camera on its neck. The 92-day note is the result date for this plan. Jee didn't need that difficult question to easily pass the university entrance exam based on her ability. However, those questions were the key for her to accuse her father. Jee also revealed that the medicine she gave Sul Gi before was just a vitamin. Hearing this, Sul Gi immediately smiled happily. That day Sul Gi suddenly arranged to meet her senior. She knew full well that he was the one who punctured her stepmother's car tire. He also admitted to doing it because Mr. Tae-jun promised to pay a generous amount of money. Here Sul Gi proposes a business deal that will help him earn a huge sum of money. That's selling college entrance exam questions to parents who have a lot of money. That night, the senior immediately contacted them. With just a deposit to buy it, he brought home a sack of money. One day before the university exam takes place, the teacher who was bribed by Mr. Tae-jun had a set of questions in hand. While he was playing football, he pretended to be injured and was taken to the council's medical room. After getting inside, he immediately gave the questionnaire to the medical staff. She is the person that Mr. Tae-jun installed. Based on Mr. Tae-jun's orders, she changed another plan without the other teacher knowing. She inflicted a real wound on the teacher's leg and asked someone from the council to call the hospital for painkillers. Just a moment later, Mr. Tae-jun immediately brought painkillers to the council. The medical worker immediately put the stolen questionnaire into his pocket. On the way back, Mr. Tae-jun told the driver to go faster. Surprisingly, the people sitting in the car were the senior and Sul Gi, when both of them had previously stolen this car. After taking Mr. Tae-jun to a deserted area, the senior forced him to get out of the car. At the same time, Jee suddenly appeared here. The senior guy immediately told Sul Gi to take the exam question paper out of Mr. Tae-jun's bag. On the other side, Jee kept telling Sul Gi to give her that exam question. After thinking for a while, Sul Gi suddenly swallowed everything into her stomach. Jee slowly approached to apologize and then drugged Sul Gi. Sul Gi was immediately taken to Mr. Tae-jun's hospital. But he doesn't want surgery to remove it. Currently, Jee had to do surgery herself to get the exam questions. A moment later, she successfully took it out. Before Jee could finish reading it, the senior grabbed it. When there were many parents outside waiting to get question sets for their children. There is also the presence of Choi Kyung and Woo Ri here. In that case, John just gave it to Jee to test. In fact, what the senior just took away was just a fake. He knew everything in advance, so he had prepared to this extent. The next day, the university exam took place. Woo Ri and Choi Kyung were surprised that the questions they bought were completely different from the exam. While Jee didn't need that set of questions, she could still easily do well on the exam. On this side, Sul Gi has regained consciousness in the hospital. At this time, the university exam had ended and she missed it. 3 weeks have passed and the results of the university entrance exam are out. Jee received maximum scores in all subjects. A large number of reporters were present to prepare to interview her. At that moment, Sul Gi absent-mindedly walked into the classroom. Then she packed her school bag and left, to everyone's surprise. That night, Jee went to the secret house where Jenna was being held. Then she told her sister that she was getting ready to go to kindergarten. Jee washes Jenna's face like what her sister did for her as a child. She suddenly put on a life jacket and a beanie hat for Jenna. Immediately after that, they stepped out onto the balcony when Jee set up a camera to broadcast this scene live. Jee hugged her sister and rushed into the deep river. At the same time, Mr. Tae-jun is having an interview at a TV station. Everyone here just saw Jee's video and couldn't help but be stunned. The news that Jee threw herself into the river was also reported live by the television station. That night, the rescue team immediately went into action to search for the victim. When the sky turned bright, the rescue team found a person. But that's just Jenna, and her younger sister Jee is still indifferent. Standing on the shore of Sul Gi, he couldn't help but worry about his best friend. She cried her eyes out and repeatedly called Jee's name in vain. Sul Gi really regrets not knowing about Jee's private plan sooner. Previously, Jee secretly placed a camera in the operating room. Everything has been recorded and Mr. Tae-jun is suspected of stealing university exam questions for the past 2 years. Furthermore, he was also suspected of having murdered the teacher Do-hook. Mr. Tae-jun was immediately arrested by the police for investigation. The reporter asked a lot of questions, but he said that he would find her until the body is found. 6 months have passed, but reporters and journalists still haven't stopped coming to Sul Gi's house for an interview, but she just stayed in the house without showing her face. Meanwhile, the police found Jee's body, but Mr. Tae-jun didn't think it was his daughter. Woo Ri is now in honest business, working part-time at a restaurant and contemplating her plan. Choi Kyung found the right major for herself, so she entered law school. She's so focused on studying that she doesn't want to meet any guy yet. Even though he was previously a professional hooker. Mr. Tae-jun was released after the police did not have enough evidence to press charges. Every day he stands in front of Sul Gi and her mother's house, rain or shine. He really wanted to see Sul Gi and wanted to know if Jee was still alive or not. In a blink of an eye, another 6 months have passed. Sul Gi is still studying hard for the upcoming university exam. At the same time, she constantly remembers her friend Jee. One day before the university entrance exam, Sul Gi heard the doorbell ring. She immediately ran out to look and saw a gift box here. Inside was a new pair of shoes and a keychain that she gave to Jee. In addition, there is a photo of a distant sea. Sul Gi smiled when she saw these things, and she knew that her friend Jee is still alive. She is in that sea waiting for her best friend, Sul Gi. Here the movie has ended. If you find it interesting, please give me a like and a subscription. Hello, and see you again in the next movies.